I have watched General Hospital long enough to know that the most dangerous moments in Port Charles are not always the ones with guns, explosions, or someone standing in the shadows. Sometimes the most dangerous moment is a mother looking at her child and realizing love is no longer enough to stop the damage. That is where I believe Nina is right now with Willow. And I have to say, this story has a heat to it that reminds me why I still sit down for this show after all these years. For a long time, Nina wanted nothing more than a real bond with Willow. She wanted a daughter. She wanted forgiveness. She wanted a place in that young woman's life after so much bitterness, rejection, and lost time. But now she has something much more frightening than distance. She has access. Willow has pulled Nina close, not because their relationship has healed in a beautiful way, but because Willow needs someone who loves her too much to turn her in. That is the cruelest trap of all. I do not believe Nina is blind. I think she sees exactly what Willow has become. She may not want to say it out loud, and she may still soften it in her mind because Willow is her daughter, but deep down, Nina knows this has gone far beyond a desperate mistake. Willow is not simply hiding one bad choice. She is protecting a chain of crimes, and every new step makes the next one easier. When a person begins to justify keeping Drew trapped in his own body with a drug, that person has already crossed a line most people never come back from cleanly. And that is where Sidwell makes this so much worse. In my opinion, Willow's greatest danger is not Drew waking up. It is Sidwell deciding she is no longer useful. Nina understands men like Sidwell better than Willow does. Willow may think she is making deals, buying time, and controlling the room. But Nina knows the kind of person who supplies a drug like that is not a partner. He is a leash. Once Willow stops being helpful, or once she becomes a risk, he will not protect her. He will remove the problem. That is why I think Nina may finally be forced to do something that looks like betrayal, but is actually the last real act of motherhood she has left. If Nina discovers that Drew can move his fingers, or that the paralysis is wearing off, she will know the clock has started. She cannot keep pretending this can be managed. She cannot let Willow keep dosing him and hoping no one notices. Drew is not a sleeping secret. He is a living witness. I can almost feel Nina's panic in this situation. Not the loud kind of panic, but the older, colder kind that settles in when a person realizes there is no perfect solution. If she exposes Willow publicly, Willow could go to prison. If she stays quiet, Willow could die. And for Nina, prison may suddenly become the safer road. That sounds terrible, but at this point, it may be the only honest truth left. This is why the idea of Nina secretly calling Kai makes sense to me. Kai is not the obvious power player, and that is exactly why he could matter. Nina cannot call Carly. She cannot call Sunny. She cannot walk into the police station without blowing everything apart. But Kai could be close enough to act and far enough from the center of the storm to move before Sidwell sees it coming. If Nina asks him to get Drew out of that house quietly, it would not just be a rescue. It would be a chess move. And yes, I believe Nina would then pretend to be shocked. I believe she would call Willow and act horrified that Drew had disappeared. Some viewers may call that cowardly, but I see it differently. Nina is trying to survive the wrath of her own daughter and the wrath of Sidwell at the same time. If Willow realizes Nina arranged Drew's escape, Willow could turn on her instantly. If Sidwell realizes Nina broke the chain, he could come after both mother and daughter. So Nina would need the performance. She would need the tears, the shaking voice, the innocent confusion. In Port Charles, sometimes acting is not deception. Sometimes it is armor. What I find so painful is that Nina is not trying to save herself first. She is trying to save Willow from the worst version of herself. There is a difference. Nina has made selfish choices in her life, and I will never pretend she has clean hands. But in this case, I think she may be the only one who can see the whole board. Willow thinks the danger is exposure. Nina knows the danger is continuation. Every day, Drew remains drugged. Willow becomes less like a frightened woman covering a mistake and more like someone capable of anything. That is the part that makes this storyline feel different from a simple villain turn. I do not watch Willow and see only evil. I see a woman who has twisted love, fear, shame, and control into something poisonous. She may believe she is protecting her future, but she is really destroying the last pieces of the person she used to be. And Nina, whether fans like her or not, is the one person who may still care enough to stop her before there is nothing left to save. When Drew recovers, the truth will not stay buried. It cannot. A man trapped inside his body, aware of what was done to him, is not going to wake up and quietly let everyone move on. Drew may be angry. He may be vindictive. He may press charges. And Willow may end up behind bars. But I keep coming back to one hard question. Would Nina rather visit her daughter in prison or bury her because Sidwell decided she was a loose end? For me, that answer is obvious, even if it breaks Nina's heart. That is why I think Nina's possible plan is not neat, but it is wise in a very Port Charles way. Remove Drew from Willow's reach. Make it look like a disappearance. Keep Sidwell from blaming Willow directly. Give Drew a chance to recover. Then let the consequences come from the law instead of from a criminal like Sidwell. It is not justice in a clean white suit. It is messy, emotional, and risky. But General Hospital has always lived in that gray space, and that is why this story is working. As a longtime viewer, I also feel this is a turning point for Nina. For years, Nina has wanted to be chosen by Willow. Now she may have to choose Willow's safety over Willow's approval. That is a much harder kind of love. Any parent or grandparent watching this can understand the ache of it. Sometimes helping your child means doing the one thing they will hate you for. Sometimes love has to be stronger than being liked. So when I look at Nina now, I do not see a woman simply covering another secret. I see a mother standing at the edge of a cliff, trying to pull her daughter back before the ground disappears. Willow may think Nina is weak because she loves her, but I think Nina's love may be the very thing that gives her the strength to end this nightmare. And if Kai becomes the quiet hand that helps get Drew out, then this story could turn very quickly from hidden horror into open war. That is what makes me want to keep watching. Not because I want Willow destroyed, and not because I think Nina deserves an easy victory. I want to see whether a mother can save a daughter who does not want to be saved. I want to see whether Drew's first real movement becomes the crack that brings the whole wall down. And I want to see whether Nina, after so many years of chasing family, finally understands that protecting family sometimes means telling the truth, even when it costs everything.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.